Jonathan Brendefur, and we're going to be talking about analog clocks today. Now that fits under the topic of measurement. How do we measure things? So with an analog clock, I'm actually going to draw a number line here as well. And the number line is going to go from 0 to 12. Within our clocks, though, our 0 really, if we're talking military, it does go 0 to 24, but our analog clocks, our 0 point, we start with 12 as well. So I'm going to actually put 12 here. So we're going from 12 to 12. We're going to match this. So the first thing that's important for students to do is actually practice having the circle and being able to partition it into 12 equal sections. So here we're going to practice them on the bottom. We're going to put 6. We're going to go halfway, 3, and 9. Now these are a little harder. We have to fit 1 and 2 in here, so we have to have 2 different partitions. So we're going to partition, and we do our best to make sure these are equal amounts, equal distance, and put 1 and 2. Practice here again. It's fine for kids to practice this, edit it, and try it again. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then another couple partitions, 10 and 11. So we get the 12. Now down here, it's the same thing on the number line. Partition halfway would be the 6. Same here. Then halfway here between 0 and 6 is 3. And halfway here is 6 and 12 is 9. Just that activity alone is a really good practice for students. And then being able to practice 2 in there, 2 partitions, which leaves 3 sections each, which gives us the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So then the number line, this idea of measuring. So the difference between counting discrete objects, 0, 1, 2, 3, and measuring is the accumulation of distance. And that's an important idea when we're starting with young kids with measuring, and same thing with clocks. So now, if I said we are at, in this case, 1 o'clock, all we need initially is the hour hand. We're going to focus just on the hour hand, and that hour hand here would be 1 o'clock. But then, as you start shifting, moving it to 2 o'clock, the hour hand will shift over, and I'll use a different color, blue. It's going to point right at 2 o'clock. That's fine. So we can, at any given point where it's on the actual hour, it's going to represent those whole numbers. Now, the difference is, what happens when we're in between those numbers? So with young kids, if I was to draw the hour hand right here, then what's happened is, now I've moved from the 1 halfway to the 2. So now I'm halfway between 1 and 2. I'm halfway between 1 and 2. What time it is, I'm half past 1. That's not bad, but where it becomes more difficult is, what happens if I'm right here? So if the hour hand, now I'm going to match it with my number line, I'm just past 1. I'm barely past 1. So now kids could say, yeah, it's just a little past 1. If they have some numbers, they might say it's 110, 115, 105. Yes, we're not dealing with the minute hand yet, but we're just getting a sense of where that hour hand is. Here is where it becomes most problematic, is when it gets really close to that next hour. So here, if the hour hand is pointing, and it looks like it's pointing to the 2, but if I put a little dotted line here, it's just before the 2. So it goes back to that accumulation of distance. The hour hand is, I have not gotten to the 2 o'clock yet. I'm very close to 2, but I'm not there. So I am almost to 2, but not to 2. So once you start putting the minute hand in, then we can start saying, yes, it's 150, 155, it's getting closer there, but in accumulation of distance, we are not there yet. So another example would be to have the students do steps. So you're at 12 o'clock, you take 1 full step, I'm at 1 o'clock. Once you're at 1 o'clock, so then you can say, what if I just bring up my foot a little bit? I'm just barely past 1. I'm halfway to 1, I'm almost to 2, but it's still 1 something. I'm not to 2 until I get to that second step. I've accumulated that distance. That's the same important idea when we're dealing with the analog clock. So then, as you have the number line, then you can have students start practicing. Have them build the number lines, and then you want them to be able to practice. So what time would it be if that is where the hand is? And then we continue to make different examples, and we'll add the numbers to it in a little bit here. What if it was here? So now they're getting that practice of coming around 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I haven't accumulated the distance all the way to 5. I'm close to 5, but I'm not there yet. So it's close to 5, maybe a quarter to 5, but it's not 5 yet. On this one, 12, we count around 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or just past 9 o'clock, maybe a quarter past 9, halfway past 9. So initially, when we're dealing with analog clocks, it's a measurement idea. We want to connect it to a number line and talk about accumulation of distance, and that it doesn't become that next whole number until we've actually accumulated the entire amount of time or distance here. Hopefully that was helpful, and we'll have some more examples later.